See, listen, the Alabama bus boycott was, we not riding your buses until you let us sit in the front. You understand what I'm saying? The Alabama bus boycotts could have went, we're not riding your buses anymore. What we're going to do is save our money and build up our own bus system. You understand what I'm saying? When you boycott, to boycott is to say, I'm not going to give you my money until you do this. So at the end of the day, they're going to get your money anyway. You understand what I'm saying? So boycotting is not good. But putting your money into your own people is what we need to do.
Why not put it on people?
Put it on your own people, not just people, but on your own people. Instead of fighting to get into that restaurant, which we see brothers and sisters. I saw a brother and sister arguing about going into a white restaurant, and because the brother had on sneakers, but he seen a white woman in the store, in the restaurant with sneakers on. So the whole time he fighting to get into the restaurant with his sneakers on, when he could have said, what? Fuck it. Salaki. Forget it. I'll go into a black restaurant. You understand? But we fight so much to give our money to our oppressor, and this is the reason why we continually never have anything to build on, because we're fighting to boycott and to fight to give our oppressor our money. What are we going to do on Black Friday? We're going to fight to get into the stores to give our oppressors our money. You understand what I'm saying? That's what we do. That's our big mistake right there, is we're fighting to give our oppressor our money. When we could take our money and, listen, what did they say? We are what? The fourth richest nation on the face of this earth. We're the fourth richest nation on the face of this earth. $1.8 trillion worth of purchasing power. And what do we do? What do we do with it? We give it to our oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? All of the money that we have in our people, and we give to our oppressor. This is the reason why our oppressor can afford to get all those fighter jets and all of those planes and things like that, because he taxes us at the end of the day. He taxes us and taxes us and taxes us, and then steals from us after that. The way he taxes us is stealing anyway. You understand what I'm saying? The way we being destroyed. You understand? How do we get back the things we lost in integration? Start taking the money from our oppressor and putting it into our own people. That's how you get back the things that we lost in integration. Start putting our money into our people. Our oppressor puts his money into his own people. Chinese people put their money into Chinese people. You understand? Arabs put their money into Arabs. Arabs don't put their money into Chinese people or black people or white people. They give their money to their own people. You understand? Every nation feeds off of us. This is the reason why every nation is living the way they do when they come to America, because they're living off of us. And with that, let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 10. Oops. First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 10. Let me know when you get there, Troop. You there? Okay. First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 10. what nation hath not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? You see that?
Yes.
What nation hath not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? Every nation comes to America and feeds off of the nation of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, the 12 tribes of Israel. Everybody feeds off of us, like I said before. Look at the sports industry. You got Arabs owning football teams and basketball teams. You got Chinese people owning parts in these teams. Look at the Chinese in your neighborhood, making millions of dollars every year off of our people. Look at the so-called Arabs in your neighborhood in the liquor store, making money off of our people. You understand what I'm saying? They live here. No, listen. They do live here. They just don't tell you where they live at. They have, see, listen, every nation separates themselves from us. They just come into your neighborhood to steal and rob you. And then they take their money back to their people. You understand what I'm saying? Think about it. Chinese people don't ride from China on a plane every day to come run the grocery store in your neighborhood. The Arabs don't come all the way from Afghanistan, Iraq, and Pakistan, you understand, on a plane every day to run the liquor stores in your neighborhood. The East Indians don't come from India every day on a plane to run the Dunkin' Donuts in your neighborhood, do they? Because they separate themselves. When have you seen an East Indian or a Korean or Chinese people just playing and running around in your neighborhood? You don't see that because they separate themselves. This is what the Most High tells us to do. Separate yourself. Be ye holy. Be ye separate. You understand? This is what he means when he tells us that we are a holy people. We are separate. You understand? We are separate from these other nations. We are greater than these other nations. But because we stay at odds with the Most High, because we stay in iniquity, because we stay in waddle in our sin, this is the reason why we are on the bottom and they on the top. Think about it. You got 50,000 to 65,000 Afghans in this country right now that just came from their country.
Yes, sir.
They have been afforded free housing. They have excellent credit coming into the country. They have been given credit, and they've been given a bank account off of our backs. Okay? It says, what nation hath not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? Listen, every nation has had a part in our kingdom and have gotten of our spoils. They rob us every day. They get our riches every day, whether it be from sports, medicine, whether it be from inventions, or whether it be from in your neighborhood selling you bad food.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay? Every nation has gotten of our spoils. We are a spoiled people. We get robbed from every nation, the Africans, everybody. You understand? All we have to do is put our money back into our own people. All we have to do is come into this truth, these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's how we live. That's how we get back on top. You understand? It says, how do we get back the things we lost in integration? Putting our money into our own people. Coming back to the laws, statutes, and commandments. Separating ourselves. Gathering together on one accord. Under the Isupk Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. out of 1 West 125th Street under Commanding General Yohana. That's how we do it. You understand what I'm saying? So now, next question. What part did preachers and the Christian church play in integration?
The preachers.
Who?
The preachers. Deceivers.
Deceiving us, right? That's true. Right. That's it. Deceiving us, right? By deceit. Listen to this. It says, what part did preachers and the Christian church play in integration? The Christian church told us that we should come together. We should come together with our oppressor. We should live in harmony. We should love one another. Our Christian church deceived us. Our Christian pastors and preachers deceived us. You understand? This is what our Christian pastors, preachers, and politicians do. The scriptures say our gates have languished. You understand? Our gates are destroyed. What does a gate do? Our gates have languished. Our gates are destroyed. Listen, gates are to keep something in or keep something out. Gates are made for protection, right? So if your gates languish, that means your gates are weakened. Our Christian preachers, pastors, and politicians are weak. They have sold us unto our enemy. You understand? They have sold us unto our enemy. Let's go to that. Let's go to 1 Maccabees chapter 11 verse, I think it's 1 Maccabees chapter 11 verse 1. No. 1 Maccabees, let me see. 1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 11. Right? 1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 11. You got that? 1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men. What does that mean? That means in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. There were wicked men in Israel. These were wicked Israelites. These were selfish Israelites. These were Israelites who thought of themselves and nobody else. You understand what I'm saying? Just like our politicians and pastors and preachers today, they think of themselves before they think of you or me. Listen. They think of themselves rather than thinking of their nation. You understand what I'm saying? Think about Baltimore City. We have a black mayor. We have a black commissioner. We have black state's attorneys. We have black city councilmen. But we are still a destroyed people. Why? Because our people, so-called Israel, not so-called Israel, but our people, Israelites, think of themselves before they think of their nation. You understand? They'd rather have a handful of jewels than a bag full. When you have a handful, that's just enough to get you by. But when you have a bag full, that's enough to take care of your whole nation. You understand what I'm saying? It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. These were wicked Israelites. These were wicked politicians. These were wicked preachers and pastors. You understand? Who persuaded many, which is what they do today. Right? Your preachers and pastors and politicians, they persuade us to go along with our oppressor. They persuade us to forgive and forget. They persuade us to love all people. You understand? They persuade us to forget about our brothers and sisters being married. Being murdered. Being murdered. You understand? We gotta get along. We gotta get along. We all live here, we gotta get along. You understand? They persuade many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. Let us go make a covenant with the heathen. Who are the heathen? What's the heathen? Say that again? No. Listen. What are the heathens? What are the heathens? Listen. What are the heathens? So when I say what are the heathens, it's a simple answer, right? Heathens are other nations that are not Israelites. Who? Take your time. Listen to me. No, listen to me, right? These are the other nations. The other nations, right? The heathens are the other nations. That's the so-called oppressor or the white man, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Arab, the African, the East Indian, any nation that is not the Israelites, that's the heathens. You understand? And the scripture says what? Persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. Listen, our preachers and pastors and politicians, they make covenants with the other nations. You understand? They sell us to the other nations. They say, yeah, you can come in. They make a covenant. They say, all right, if you give me this, we'll allow you to come into our neighborhoods and make money off of our people. You understand? If I'm not mistaken, a few years ago, they said Catherine Pugh accepted $60,000 from the Korean consulate. You understand what I'm saying? So that they can continue to come in and make millions upon millions upon millions of dollars from our people every year. Listen, she accepted $60,000 so that they could come in and make millions upon millions of dollars every year. She took a drop in the bucket so that they could make millions. You understand what I'm saying? They came in and gave her $60,000. Then when she got ousted, they asked for their $60,000 back. You see what I'm saying? It says, persuaded many. Let me start at the top. In those days, went there out of Israel wicked men. You understand? That means we had wicked brothers and brothers in the nation, right? Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. Let us go make a deal with the heathen so that we could wet our beak, but they could take care of their nation. You understand? That are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. Since we departed from them, man, things ain't been right. We need to get back with these nations so that we could be high on the hog again. This is what our people think about us. You understand? This is what the selfish and the wicked brothers and sisters of Israel think about us. Well, if we can connect with the other nations, then we can make money. We could sell out, and this is what they do to us every day. They sell us out every day. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Exactly. So let's move on. Let me see. So now, 50 years later, did preachers and political leaders make progress in the civil rights movement? Did they make progress in the civil rights movement? 50 years later, think about it, right? 1954, 64, 74, 84, 94, 2004, 14, that's 60, almost 65 years. 65 years later, where are we?
Nowhere.
We are nowhere.
Nowhere. Still
No progress at all. You know?
Up into it.
Integration has destroyed us as a people. Integration has us murdering our brothers and sisters. Integration has us getting high. Integration has us eating shrimp, crab, lobster, and pork. You understand? They say on TV now that pork is the new white meat. You understand what I'm saying? Integration has us all in homosexuality, has our people totally destroyed. We have become a proverb and a byword. People look at us in astonishment, asking themselves, what is wrong with those people? You understand? How can you love a people? Other nations look at us and ask, how can you love a people who continually destroy you? But that's us. We continually destroy our own people, but we love our oppressor. Scriptures say you're going to love one and hate the other. You know? You understand what I'm saying? And with that, I'm going to say we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is that the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Indians are the descendants of the greatest people to ever walk the face of this earth. And the Bible identifies us as the 12 tribes of Israel. We are the true Jews of the Bible. And with that, we're going to get to the security announcements. Let's clap it up. Right? We get to the security announcements. Let me just straighten up right here a little bit. Bring all of this together. Good looking, Troop. I'm glad you showed up today. Glad you showed up today. Yonder bar. Yep. Let me get this. All right. Security announcements. Right. We are the Isupk out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6-month period in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry, tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means 10th in the Hebrew, and is pronounced ma'asherah. 10th of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, a free will offering for the priest, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like to give. Up and coming Holy Convocation. We have the Feast of Dedications coming on November the 28th.
Yes, sir.
And we also have the Passover coming up in April the 15th. That'll be in Cocoa Beach, Florida. So make sure you get your flights together. Make sure you start saving up your money so that you can make that Passover. You understand? Which is one of our high holy days, which is, I think, the biggest, right? Passover is the biggest. Remind Akim and Aquatium to check on social media such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which include black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, Mother Israel, a Majin Shabbat, a Majin, Barak, Yahaba Shem Yahushua Rakatha, Yahaba Shem Yahushua Rakatha, Yajim Tah, class dismissed.
Listen well to what I tell. No calling to get cause brain. Something that I rub know very well. Can't tell I was sent from Lord. Gotta talk like a 2